right, and we are recording. Are you ready to do this again?
Good to go.
Brent. Good to go? Okay. And we're going to start now.
Welcome to Trekaholic. And now, here is your host, Albie.
And tonight, my guest is Mr. Brent Japp. How you doing, Brent?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Very happy to see you. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Got to be 10 years now, at least. It's decade.
Yeah, it was 10 years, 2010.
We weren't dads then. We both have kids now.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that long.
Nope. I was down there in 2010, so it's been 10 and a half years.
Oh, yeah, like almost exactly.
Married for 6, so yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I couldn't get my passport, so I didn't come to the wedding. I don't know if I was invited. I got to check my email. I never deleted it.
I will backdate an email.
Can you do? You could probably do that. I couldn't do that, but you could do that. You and our mutual friend Steve could do all that kind of stuff. So, very smart man I have on the line here tonight. So we're talking about Star Trek tonight. But first, I want to get to know you and people that don't know you. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
All right. So my name's Brent. I'm from Vancouver, or just outside of Vancouver in BC, Canada. I am a computer programmer by training and by job, actually. I'm been a Trekkie and Trekkie, Star Trek fan.
Yeah, me too.
Forever.
I'm a Trekaholic, so I really have a problem.
I like the name.
Yeah.
I always have.
I got that name on AOL back in the day. Nobody had it when I got my screen name, so I kept it and I got it everywhere.
That's awesome. Yeah, I started Star Trek when I was about 8 or 9, and then slowly that evolved into basically Star Trek Next Gen, and then into DS9, Voyager. At the time, I picked up, I think, Crusade, which is a spin-off of Babylon 5 that got canceled.
I did watch Crusade, yeah. I wasn't as into it as much as Babylon 5. Love Babylon 5.
Babylon 5 I never got to watch until reruns.
Oh, really? Me neither. I binged the whole thing. I binged the whole thing in like a few months. It was great. I was like totally absorbed into the universe.
And then probably my other favorite show from back then had been one called Red Dwarf out of the UK.
Watching that now. I'm on season 5. I'm almost to the second episode of season 5. What's it called? Like something.
5, one is
it's a play on words or something. Huh?
Or, first one was Hollow Ship, or was that
Hollow Ship? I watched Hollow Ship. The one after that, I think I'm on.
Okay,
but
maybe Inquisitor.
Maybe, but I'm really loving it. I really am. That's my little reward to myself after I work all night. If the sun's not up yet, I put on an episode of Red Dwarf and I just sit there and I just enjoy. It's great. I love it.
So, fun fact on that one, they did at the 10th year of Red Dwarf, 10 years after the started airing, they did a Red Dwarf night on BBC. And so they had a whole bunch of like specials. So they had a cooking show with the actors on there playing the characters, and they did a quiz show with the actors.
That's awesome.
But they also did a documentary called A to Z, where they had a bunch of famous, semi-famous people say their like thoughts on Red Dwarf. So Patrick Stewart's one of them.
Oh wow!
So he's.
Is that on the DVD sets? I know they have a lot of extras.
DVD sets,
okay, I have them, but I haven't watched most of the special features yet.
Yeah, so his famous one there is I think he's sitting down in a hotel room while he was filming something or doing a show, and just sitting there relaxing through on the TV, saw his Red Dwarf, started watching it, realized it was possibly a rip-off of Star Trek, so he's going to pick up the phone to call his agent and get this dealt with, and he said then one of the first gags happened, and he's like, and so he put the phone down and ended up watching it. Like, it's what he said was one of his favorite shows or something to watch.
Oh, that's awesome! And that came out what, 89, I think, or 87?
88. They released 2 seasons back to back, and then slowly they've been dripping new seasons out until the 90s.
And there's a new movie now on the BritBox, right?
Yeah,
I haven't watched it yet because I'm doing it in order, of course.
4 years ago, they started on another network called Dave, which I think's an offshoot.
They're all dead, Dave.
Yeah, they're all dead, Dave.
All of them? They're all dead, Dave.
Yeah, they did 3 new seasons and then the new movie. So
yeah, I can't wait. I'm enjoying it, and everybody that I've talked to or told that I'm watching it, they're so excited for me, and I'm excited for me because I love when one of my friends gets to experience something I've seen so many times for the first time. So now I'm that person, which is unusual because I'm usually that guy.
I have actually a good friend here who he never really grew up watching TV.
Really?
And yeah, and he started watching Star Wars when Disney bought Star Wars and they started the new movies. So he enjoyed it. And so we back watched a bunch of Star Wars movies.
That's awesome.
And then he was telling me, I think one day we're talking, and he's like, I really like something like where they travel to different planets or something, like with wormholes or something. I'm like, I got a show for you.
Stargate.
Yeah.
That's what you were really into, I think, when we first met, and me too. Steve got me into it, our mutual friend. And I love Stargate.
Stargate's actually it's a personal favorite. It's actually filmed right around here. So
one of the reasons I want to come visit you.
Sorry?
One of the reasons I want to come visit you.
Oh yeah.
Don't be afraid to dumpster dive for
I'll
sets.
get back to that in a second. But when I had a friend whose dad actually worked on the set of Stargate. So
really?
He got me on set for 2 days.
Do you have like a piece of set anywhere or anything like that?
No, I got pictures, but
no pictures.
I got to see filming season 6, episodes 1, 2, and 3. I got to see them filming bits and pieces of them.
In person?
I got to stand on set, 10 feet from the actors watching them. That was one of my more favorite memories.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I think there's an episode of Stargate Universe. I forget the episode name, but it's about a parallel timeline, maybe. Okay. And one of the characters has an illness, and I think that episode, you probably know what it is, but
I remember it. Universe I've never watched. I only watched one time through.
Me too, when it was on, and I have it on Blu-ray, but I never rewatched it. I just bought it and put it on the shelf. But one day. But I think that episode is like one of the best episodes of television ever. But you have to earn it by watching all of Stargate up to there to get it. But yeah, I love that stuff. And Farscape fan, all the cool stuff, right? Doctor Who.
I don't have it on my desk anymore. I have a giant Doctor Who mug.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
We just watched that with my daughter, and now she carries a towel around in her backpack because you always need a towel with you. So
always.
I love that my daughter likes all the geeky, cool stuff that I like. So
I hope my boys like it too when they get older.
Yeah, I just she knows how to like get me to do stuff. I'm like, it's time to go to bed. It's bedtime. Can I watch one episode of Star Trek? Okay.
So I'm.
How did you get in this? Huh?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say. So where my office? I was gonna say I'll get back to that. Where my office is located, there is literally a production studio set up across the street.
Wow.
And they're doing. I think they did the new Sabrina show that's on Netflix.
Haven't watched it yet. That's on my to-watch list.
And so, actually, a neat thing is they all get parking stickers on their windshield, so you know what shows they're working on. So people with Batwoman stickers and Supernatural stickers, and
all the good stuff.
Legends,
and you're right
Supergirl.
There. Oh my goodness! Yeah. Have you ever seen Kevin Smith in the parking lot directing the Supergirl?
I have not seen anybody worth seeing anywhere around.
Okay. Yeah, you got to put on the Mission Impossible music and sneak in, maybe. It's Canada. What are they going to do? Oh, please don't come in. You don't belong here. Go back out and be like, oh, I'm sorry.
There was one day there was 3 guys walking down, looked like in like 16th century or 17th century, like French, like Napoleon army type outfits, walking down the sidewalk.
Napoleon.
Going to get lunch, I guess.
That's awesome. Now I know where I want to move. I was thinking between Canada, Norway, and Australia. I think it's easier to sneak into Canada. I'm not sure.
All I hear about Australia is everything there is trying to kill you. So yeah,
that's true. So maybe Norway, but it's hard to immigrate into Norway right now, from what I understand.
I think anywhere right now. But.
Yeah, well, for us Americans.
So
how did you get into Star Trek?
Star Trek. So funny enough, I had when I was about 8 or 9, my babysitter, he was a big fan, and so he always watched it. And so I got back in the day, you only had one TV in your house, so I spent a lot of time. Either I had to play with toys that. I was usually at his house. So I didn't have my toys. So I had to play with a notepad or something, or watch Star Trek with them. So I watched Star Trek, and I thought it was kind of a silly show initially, and then just watch it day after day after day, and this is actually pretty good. I like this. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you as old as me? And the TV you originally watched Star Trek on was wood and sat on the floor and it went click, 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 click.
Not that one.
Not that one.
My dad had one of those TVs.
Okay.
I think even to that point until it bit the dust, and we finally got a nice Sony Trinitron.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I only got a 65, which was cool when I bought it, but then you walk by the 80 inches and you're like, damn it. When is that going to stop? I don't know. I guess as high as a doorway, right?
Yeah.
For
Well,
the, for the
even in
height.
this episode, you can see the captain's quarters. I think she has a screen on her wall.
Mhm.
It's not on, but looked like the entire wall was a giant
Mhm.
screen. So.
So what did your like Trekkies like to talk, I think, about their fandom when they talk about what's your favorite episode of each series, because that kind of gives you a clue of what kind of Trekkie you are. So can you tell me some of your favorite episodes from each series?
All right. So original series still, I think, because I came into in the next gen era, the original series was never one of my favorites. I always found it slower to watch. But I actually still one of my favorites is always going to be Tribbles.
Yeah.
But I actually quite like the Cage.
And Cage is really good.
And then was it the Moronga?
The Menagerie.
Where they come back to that
Menagerie, where they reuse the footage.
Yeah,
because they didn't have all
the
color footage, I think, until after that.
Yeah, and I really love that because they like not knowing back then, but the Cage being the original pilot.
It was a clip show from a show that we hadn't seen, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So
the
Menagerie is much better than Shades of Grey.
They actually showed the bad side, like a captain that got hurt badly and had the negative consequences, I guess, of being out there.
Yeah, it happens. And you would think that they'd be able to heal him, but I guess not because show. But what do you think of the new Pike series coming out? I'm excited for that.
I'm excited because Discovery, I was very on the fence about Discovery watching it. I liked the show. I should say that. I really like the series. I really like serial. Like Babylon 5 is one of my favorites, and that's
love Babylon 5.
Beginning, middle, ends type of show. It's got that was in an era where that wasn't normal. Or Deep Space Nine, probably my favorite Star Trek, and that's again they start out kind of just loosely, but by about season 3, 4, they start the Dominion, and then they really build a continual story. And so I've always liked the serial layout.
You've read my mind about Discovery. I like everything about Discovery, but for some reason it hasn't all melded into that thing yet. Like it's almost there. So hopefully this season is the season. Because the next gen, the first couple seasons,
Oh yeah, and that's sometimes in today's era you don't get that forgiveness. In the past,
it's either a hit or not.
Yeah, if it doesn't make it the first 6, good chance you're going to be canceled or whatever.
Right.
And even they usually only do the first 13 order until it's at least hit a certain around 6 to 9, and that's when they decide if they're going to do the back half or not.
I can't think of what I don't like about Discovery, and I like it, but I don't love it yet. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
So Discovery, one of the small things there was the first 3 episodes was almost a different show because that's her, and then it starts a series from after episode 4.
It's like they started filming before they knew what they were making, and then like they were also at the end of the season 1 they were like let's do something different again more still.
And then I think that's coming from the feedback. So season 1 though, they did new stuff. The technology seemed out of place for the era it should be, based on previous Star Trek, and the Klingons, their whole redesign. So as a fan, they didn't do fan service, I guess. They actually tried to do their own thing.
Yeah.
And they tried to bring it to the current era, which I totally get what they're doing. But because they said it's before Star Trek original series, it felt very out of place. If they had told us that show was based 50 years after Next Gen,
it would have been fine, right?
Yeah, 100% fine.
Whole new universe and all that stuff. And then they had planned to
not use Klingons, use a different race.
I tried to like the new Klingons because they're awesome looking, but I just didn't feel like they were Klingons, even though they were. And eventually I got into them, but it was just hard for me, even though I was like consciously trying.
Season 2, though, they come back there, and I think they did the fan service a little bit. They realized that they had to correct as much as they could.
Yeah.
And they slowly, over season 2, they did do a lot of retconning off season 1 and to fit into the original series. Pike commenting that he's pulling all the advanced technology out of the Enterprise. Yeah,
which is, I like that. No more holograms. Let's get rid of that. Eventually he's going to be like, can we rebuild this out of plywood? Maybe, I don't know. I remember Matt Myra saying he was a host of After Trek for the first season of Discovery. He said on his podcast, Star Trek: The Next Conversation, which I recommend, it's great. He said that the producers told him that at the end of season 1 of Discovery, they were supposed to jump to Star Trek Voyager time.
Oh.
But then they pulled the plug on that at the last moment.
I did like the season 2 idea with the artificial intelligence. I don't know if it's a short order because usually they didn't run a full 22 episodes. I don't think. So it feels.
I don't know.
It feels like there's dead space in between episodes and then a rush, and to get the final story finished.
Did you like Short Treks? Did you like Trouble with Edward, stuff like that?
I actually loved that one.
Yeah, me too. I really love that. H. John Benjamin, I think his name is, or really great.
I like him as an actor, and then he did that role well. And that was a very good short. I also just like the one with him stuck in the turbo lift.
Oh, that was great, and they were singing, and that was the closest thing to a Star Trek musical so far. So hopefully we get one. Maybe on Lower Decks, that'd be great.
So one of my favorite Discovery episodes so far would actually be the one where Saru's home planet so you get to see
that was nice.
An alien race, really from an alien race point of view. Something you don't, a lot of Star Trek, you're seeing it from the human point of view, and so it's neat to see from an alternate point of view. Animated series, I actually have only probably watched 3 episodes, maybe 4.
Really, I recommend it.
Great.
It's on Netflix.
I watched the Tribble one,
CBS.
so I'm going to say the Tribble one, even though I don't think it was actually, I think it was a horrible episode.
More Troubles, more Tribbles. I've seen that probably mostly. That and Yesteryear, where Spock goes back in time to save himself. Okay. That's a good one.
Yesteryear. I think that's the one I've actually seen. So.
Yeah. So I think they were like the 3 that came on the VHS that I first had or something. That and maybe the L'Oreal Signal. I don't know how to pronounce it. Where the women save the day.
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's really good. I recommend it. Spoilers, but they save the day at most ends of most Star Trek. So,
that's good to know.
Okay, you're really smart. I have a question.
Okay.
Why on Discovery did they have to go to the future to save what the ship and the data from the enemy they defeated? I'm still confused about that.
Me too.
Okay.
No idea. I didn't get it in the episode. It fit the story, I guess.
Yeah.
I think what's the term? MacGuffin.
Yeah.
They needed to. They had an end goal of getting the show into a new timeline, so it doesn't wreck the old timelines.
Right.
Get it out of the. Keep the show going, but make it fit the timelines better.
So
that was the story they decided on.
No real in-universe reason. It's kind of like everybody made a mistake and nobody realized it. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I did like that whole that action scene of that final battle kind of thing was actually really almost movie esque.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that could have been in a movie. Yeah, big time.
And that's actually something I think we're gonna see more of. It's all the series goes like with Mandalorian. I don't know if you watched that.
Oh yeah, I love
Wars.
it. We have a third member of our family right now is Baby Yoda. He goes everywhere with us.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So they filmed a lot of that in a closed room using Unreal Engine, which is like the gaming engine.
I watched that. What do they call that? The continuum? No, the form? No, the space? What do they call it?
I don't actually know. I just know it has like the giant screens. Like
it's awesome. They should just do that from now on with everything. Because I watched the whole Mandalorian and I thought they were like in Egypt, in the desert, and somewhere, in another country, just filming it. And then you see the behind the scenes and you're like, no way.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Apparently it takes better actors or different style actor to be able to pull these off, because it's the same issue they actually had filming Star Wars movies, at least the newer ones. Actually more the George Lucas, so the prequels. They a lot of the scenes where they are just literally in a green room filming, and they have to run and hop, and then they're filling in fighting something.
I think I saw where the actors were talking how they were going in that room through the lava tunnels.
Yeah.
And normally how they all have to imagine their own thing, what it's going to be like, but they were actually there and they were getting like motion sickness and thinking they were moving when they weren't, and all experiencing the same thing so they could act better together. That's great. I can't wait until like that just takes off. I think it will. Yeah. And I want one in my house for a holodeck.
I would always be for a holodeck. I think just the VR lenses will be the closest we're going to see in our generation.
I do that a lot. But I have just the ones with you put your phone in.
Oh, okay.
Then you check on the YouTube where you press a thing for VR. You do things like roller coasters.
I haven't tried that yet.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun.
One of my friends has the Oculus. So
I want that.
Got to use it there, but I haven't actually got one myself yet.
If they want to sponsor the show, just send me one. You're the sponsor.
So, favorite episodes? TNG.
TNG, yeah.
Probably Yesterday's Enterprise.
That's a beautiful one. I that moment that it with the Tasha Yar thing, and it just gives me chills every time. And I think that's the first Next Gen episode I teared up, cried at.
Okay, I like, and actually Tasha Yar. So that actually then breaks a temporal issue, which then brings in was it Sela?
Sela, her daughter, half Romulan. Yeah.
The only thing that would have made that neater is if they had introduced that Romulan prior to that episode.
Yeah, and you didn't know why. But, I think they were going week by week then. Now they pretty much go by season or sometimes longer. JMS, J. Michael Straczynski, had whole series planned out.
Yeah.
I'd like to find out what Jeremiah had planned for the end.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
That was a 5-year plan too, I think. So was it DS9? That's a hard one to pick. I think
it's like one long good series, miniseries.
One of my favorites, I think, still though, is one of the final episodes where they're all in the holodeck with Vic.
What is that? Bada bing, bada boom, something like that.
Yeah, they do the robbery, casino robbery.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great one.
The captain sings with them at the Vic at the end.
Then it was like, we're going to do what we want. It's our show, and we're just gonna. That was the best, because my favorite part about Star Trek is the characters, and that show is all characters.
And I think that's Star Trek in general. It is about the character. It's about not a lot of the sci-fi things. They're just using their whatever magic science at the end of every episode to fix it all. But it's all about the character development. Yeah,
the whole whatever's the story of the week of what's going to kill him. I know it's not, so it doesn't really interest me as much. Vic Fontaine, huh?
Oh, I was to say, I was going to go into the next one. So Vic Fontaine. Sorry.
Vic Fontaine. I don't know if you got the email to my wedding invitation. Did you go to my wedding? I'm not sure.
I didn't go to your wedding. I did get the invite.
Oh, did you?
Sorry, I didn't make it. But
cool.
I did get an invite.
I put you on the list, but I didn't do the stamp thing because I saw on Seinfeld that if you lick the things you could die. So I didn't do that part. But the local band I hired, I gave them a copy of This One's from the Heart, the Vic Fontaine album, and that's all the music they played, the whole thing. And nobody knew. They just thought, old cool timey music. And there was 3 people there that went, Deep Space Nine? I was like, yeah. So it was totally
I had that CD, and I literally think I left it in the CD player when I sold one of my vehicles.
Oh man, I had to buy it twice because I rolled over the first copy in my rolly office chair. It just cracked and shattered, and I was very sad because I got the streaming MP3 versions, but I wanted the nice one, so I had to buy it again. But it's okay. So I think that's all of them. Picard, did you enjoy Picard?
I did watch it. I don't know if there's a real favorite to that. Yeah,
okay.
It's
again one story.
Yeah, it's one long story. So each episode has a bit. I guess meeting Riker and Troy.
Yeah, that was really nice.
That was good. So I was actually a big Star Wars book fan, and I read pretty much the entire expanded universe of books before Disney bought them. And then they said, we're done with those. They're legacy.
So they're not canon, so they can do anything they want now.
Yeah. Well, Lucas books or Lucasfilm, they always said that those were like B canon kind of thing. Like they would, if a movie decided to change something, they would, but they were going to honor them more or less. And then Disney decided to scrap that, which I understand.
Well, so if it matters to you, that's all that matters.
Star Trek books.
Yeah, Star Trek books. Oh, you got a favorite Star Trek book? I got lots.
Not really yet, but I started reading the ones post Nemesis. That's why
I haven't been there yet.
All decided to go.
How are those? Are those worth the read?
I enjoyed I read 3 of them, I think, 3 or 4. They really went into Romulus and Romulan politics, and because everything is falling apart, and so the Federation was coming in to try helping them, and it was neat. It was good. It was very politic heavy, I found. But they started building the Crusher-Picard relationship.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they started to build that, and I hadn't gotten further. And then the Picard series has come out, and I almost feel like they aren't honoring those books in any way, shape, or form. Did
you read Q or Cordially Invited about Beverly and Picard's wedding?
No.
That is a great book. Q, Beverly, Jean-Luc Picard, their wedding, and how he tries to interrupt it and mess it up. And they go on an adventure. Oh man, I read slow, but I read that in maybe 2 days. Nice. While I was working and sleeping and dadding. So that's not easy.
With my firstborn, all the nights I rewatched all TNG, and second I made it through about half of DS9 in 3 months.
Wow.
Watching an episode or 2 a night.
Yeah. Right now it's difficult for me because I'm a full-time father when I have my daughter half the week. So I can only work when she's asleep. And then the days that she's not with me, I have wall-to-wall work.
Yeah.
So that one episode of Red Dwarf or that one episode of Star Trek, I really cherish it when I do get to watch it.
I hear you. I'm glad I watched my TV as a youth, because at this point I barely can get probably an episode a day in a show.
Dad problems, right? responsibility. Oh, well. So speaking of Star Trek and Star Trek Lower Decks, tell me what your thoughts are on the series so far. There's been 3 episodes before this one. And of course,
3
you watched
episodes.
the 4th one.
This one, I actually am more on the love side than the hate.
Good. I like that. That's better than or different than other people I've talked to. Christopher D. Philippus.
I could see his dislike, Christopher's dislike, happening more towards the last 2 episodes, but I
want to dance in your blood, right? Or I'm gonna dance in your blood. I messed that up. Oh well.
So the first episode I always give a pilot, usually a pass, but I actually enjoyed the episode. It very much had a Rick and Morty-ness to it.
The animation style, definitely.
Yeah,
and the humor.
And those aliens, the farmer aliens, they definitely just, to me, said something right out of Rick and Morty.
They probably could have imported them from the other folders on their animation station or something.
I almost want to go rewatch
just to see if they're there.
They were
right
in one of the episodes.
Mike McMahon was from the original, one of the original people involved in Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
so I'm sure that's a big part of it.
So and then the other show that it really rung bells with me was I went off TNT called Final Space.
Final Space. I just found out about that last night, a matter of fact.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet.
I highly recommend it.
Okay.
It's very
Is it adult or is it good for kids?
Oh, it's adult.
Oh, so watch it by myself. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. The animation style looks similar. That's what caught my eye.
Yeah. No, just the feel of it, even some of the jokes, some of the way it's real, but it's got a slight cartoon feel to it. Like stuff wouldn't really happen with real people. Okay. That was the feel of that show.
Which I don't mind because if the story's great, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And and one of the things, like one of the main characters is a cat person. And so when I see the Doctor, the first thing I think is that character from Final Space.
Yeah, I like the Doctor. Congratulations, you're scratching post. Laughed out loud.
Yeah, that was a good one. They have a lot of little jokes in this show, and that's actually probably one of my criticisms so far. There's been jokes, I think, just to have a joke.
And on Lower Decks.
On Lower Decks.
Okay, yeah, I can see that, but yeah, it's like it's a stand-up comedy improv routine-esque thing.
Yeah, and so
I don't know.
It kind of made me think of Orville a little bit. Orville, the first few episodes, I found a lot of the jokes missed. But
like they were there just because they were required, kind of.
Yeah,
they weren't
as
organic.
It went on, it felt like it gained its footing better and better. That's how actors get more comfortable. But that was actual. Now they're doing voice acting, which they may not ever be in the same room together. I don't know, especially in the
on Lower Decks. Yeah, right now they're not. Yeah, they sent each one of them their own like at home recording setup. So they direct over like Zoom or whatever, Skype, and then they record locally and then send the files.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that's where I think animation could really thrive during this era.
There's no really live production going on, at least in the States. I don't know how it is in Canada right now. I think
they're doing some, but there's so many rules that they have involved. So I remember hearing that some shows are going back, but I think they're basically treating it like closed sets. So you'd have just the people involved in that episode and like 1 or 2, like the cameraman and maybe a couple, one director or somebody on stage. You're keeping the bare minimum on set at all times.
I'd say just go animation for a year. That's fine. Might find some great things like Lower Decks. I mean, it's great that they had planned that and it was working out so good and it just perfect timing.
Because I think you mentioned in one of the previous ones that this was actually meant to air after the season of Discovery.
Right. They were going to lead with Discovery Season 3 and then go right into Lower Decks, the one a week. But they reversed it because I think the actual reason, the principal photography was done, but the people that were doing the special effects were doing it at home. And I guess it was taking longer, probably just sheer, processing frames, home computer versus, I don't know what they gave them or whatever, but it took longer than they expected.
The Walking Dead, another series. It's not sci-fi, but kind of offshoot. But
what was the reason for the zombieism?
So the final episode, they didn't finish post-production, and so they had to They did the whole entire they aired the whole entire season except for the final episode because they didn't finish post-production and before they had to shut down from COVID.
So maybe they'll
finally
do a movie
air
or
it in
something?
October.
Oh, okay, cool. How did they finish it? Just found footage, re-edited, or?
No, they had the episode filmed. They had
oh,
everything
okay.
done.
It was special effects.
Yeah, the special effects, post-production.
Because those are like zombies with green all over them to make them look better later. Right?
I think so, because it's also the whole final episode before this led into the like biggest battle ever kind of thing. So you're gonna have.
I think I watched up to
10,000
season
zombies.
3 of that. Season 3, maybe.
I stuck through it.
I saw up to where they were eating people that were still alive.
Yeah,
I think that's about right.
Season 3, I think.
Yeah, that was one about my kid noticed stuff on television, so I couldn't watch gross stuff anymore. So I went from that to Disney Junior.
Yeah,
interesting transition. Are you excited for Prodigy? Going to be on Nickelodeon.
I'm interested. I think I'll be my maybe one to get my kid into.
Oh yeah, definitely mine. So because she's watching Lower Decks, and just stuff goes over her head, or she asks questions, but it's not so bad. But Prodigy will be made for her. So
that's a sign of a good TV show or movie. Like Shrek would be a good example. You can have a younger kid, I guess an older kid, but preteen, watch Shrek and not get half the jokes. But an adult can watch it and laugh their butt off too.
It's on a couple levels and stuff.
Yeah.
I think the one part she googled at was because there was butts in the holodeck. She was like, butts. She normally doesn't see butts on Disney Junior or Nickelodeon or anything like that. Okay.
All right.
Are you ready to watch the episode?
Sure. We've talked a lot.
I love reconnecting with you. It's been a while since we've actually talked like this, so I really appreciate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a watch along. Me and Brent are going to watch. We have our CBS All Access apps or whatever your equivalent is in Canada. I don't know about that.
TV Space, I guess.
Ooh, I love Space. They always have the best shows. They always have the best shows. So we're going to start the episode after we take a little break and get your either first or second screen device ready, however you got this set up, so you can watch it along with us. So we can all watch it together, and me and Brent are going to talk about it and tell you what we like, what we didn't like, and our thoughts about it. And we're going to do that right after the break.
We will be right back.
And we're back. Welcome back to Trekaholic, and I'm here with my friend Brent Japp from Canada. Go Canada.
Yay.
Yay. I love Degrassi. Had a crush on Spike. Still do. Whatever happened to her?
I have no idea. Okay. Not one of the shows I watched.
You didn't watch Degrassi? No. Wow. Maybe I'm more Canadian than you. No, I'm not more Canadian than you. So.
Hey.
What is it? A boot? Is that the other one?
A boot.
Yeah.
A boot.
Everybody thinks I have a pet alligator and I'm addicted to meth. And I do not have a pet alligator.
So
Star Trek.
Funny when I was gonna say funny when I actually. I shortly lived in the States, down actually near, that's where I met Elle. But I was, by about 3 months in there, when I talked to people from Canada, I could hear the Canadian accent.
Really?
Once you're around, I was around an American accent for a few months.
Do I sound like I have an accent to you?
I don't hear it.
Yeah.
I work with so many Americans now, and the accents I barely even notice them as much.
The company I work with is a global company, so I work with people in all time zones, all continents, all countries. Not Antarctica yet, but that'd be awesome. Oh, maybe I could volunteer.
Good luck.
But we're all remote workers, so so many people. But we have a lot of Canadian people, so we talk about Canada because I like Canada.
Nice.
Yeah. How can you not like Canada, right? They know what they're doing.
We're good at pretending.
Fooled me. So what we're going to do is a watch along, like we mentioned. This is a dual screen experience. So we're one of your screens, whether we're your main screen or your second screen. What we're going to do is we're going to tell you when to hit play. So we're all going to hit play together. Me in Florida, Brent in Vancouver or close to Vancouver. Not sure. By all where the cool TV shows are made. And we're going to count down to it, and we're all going to hit play at the same time and watch along and see what happens. Okay, what we're doing is we're watching Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 1, Episode 4, Moist Vessel. And when Zoe says, on view screen, that's your cue to hit play. So we're going to start in 3, 2, 1.
On view screen.
And we're going. TVPG. That is different.
It was
14, than the last episode.
Last week.
Yeah, I wonder what the difference was. Was there anything like naughty last week or violence? I don't know.
I guess with the crystals people, they're trying to stab everybody.
Yeah, and there was a stabbing and some blood. What did you think of this ship? It immediately reminded me of many different things, like Space Seed. It reminded me of the Neutral Zone. It reminded me of the Genesis.
Genesis, where my mind went.
Okay. Life from Lifelessness.
Yeah, It was just a
Her
huge
tricorder's
ship.
alive.
Now,
Now,
my next thought was I feel bad for this race. They built this giant ship and went out, and it didn't make it.
I'm trying to look at that ship like sideways. It looks like it could be like somebody could cosplay the ship if they did it on their side. I don't know. So what is this guy? I still haven't looked up the race. I know it's like I think they have them in Enterprise in the original series a little bit, the pig people.
Yeah, I remember the.
Am I a lazy Trekaholic? I only know them by pig people.
Yeah, and I don't even know his name.
Terraforming emulsion.
So here's a good. This is what Christopher always mentions is about Mariner here being almost annoying to just be annoying.
This was the first episode, besides the I Want to Dance in Your Blood, this was the first episode where I really thought she was being a jerk for no reason. You know, not fun either. Nobody was enjoying what she was doing.
No, my assumption is this episode really started Star Trek heavy, so it was about the command crew. They let us know the plot of the episode, know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so as soon as we had enough information of a plot, she steps in to bring it back down to the lower decks, bring it back to these other insignificant characters.
Do you think it has to do with Beckett? It has to do with her mom, or just authority in general, or not wanting to? You're too cool for school, not wanting to be there. Why is she in Starfleet if she doesn't like it? I don't get it.
I'm hoping that there's going to be a bigger story we're going to hear over this as the show goes on.
Yeah, something to be determined, maybe.
Yeah, like this episode here, you kind of get to see a little bit more about her.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good start.
Right there, the Star Trek Picard foreshadowing, kind of.
Yeah. With
the Borg and the Romulan.
This is set about 5 years before, I think,
I'm not sure, but that seems about right.
I think I read
it's
that
in between.
I think it's about 5 years prior to the...
Post-Nemesis, but pre-Picard, right?
Yeah. Before the bug on there.
That's my daughter's favorite part of the opening. She laughs every time, top of her lungs. I don't know why. I never laughed at it until she started laughing at it. Now it makes me laugh. So who knows how humor works? I
just like the whole opening
McMahon.
sequence. They're like the screw ups almost out there. But.
Which would be me. That's why I like it. I identify with these people because no matter what job I'm in, I always, one, I'm there to have fun first, and two, to make money to provide for my family, and three, to have fun and buffer time.
They show the in the back. I think you've seen it more in the other episodes, but the captain has her shelf of.
Yeah, what trinkets. Are those? Those seem like Easter eggs from other captains?
I feel like they are because there's a model spaceship. I'm not really sure what that's of their own ship, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking the Sword and the Sulu, maybe, or I don't know.
I was thinking that, and then they got the old ship.
Was that the Reliant? Was that the Reliant ship from Wrath of Khan? I don't know.
And then the baseball. There's a baseball there. So that makes
Ben Sisko, right?
Yeah.
I want to. If I ever talk to her, maybe I'll talk to her about that. What do you think of her number one? What do you think of Jerry O'Connell's performance as Commander Jack Ransom?
Still undecided. I liked him a bit more last episode. He seems like he's got smartness to him, but he's also a bit of a jerk.
Yeah, arrogant, like an arrogant Riker, maybe.
Yeah, that could be a good. Stabbing her in the foot with the sword, that was pretty. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious, unexpected.
I did not see it coming.
Pulled the shirt off.
Yeah, a lot of partial nudity, which I'm in favor of because I'm lonely. I'm in quarantine 6 months now, so those kind of things excite me. Rutherford, what do you think about Rutherford?
He's actually so far probably my more favorite one. He seems like I'm really curious on the implant. Is it by choice he had that? Did he have, or is it like in Discovery where the girl got injured and had it?
Could be.
Implant added?
Could be. That was a great episode, by the way. They should have built her up a little bit more before that episode. But what came to my mind was the girl from the person from Star Trek Borg that had the implant.
Okay.
She was I think the video game, the full motion video. You never played it?
No. I've never played any of the video games other than I think on Nintendo.
It's full motion video, so it's like Choose Your Adventure, but with Voyager sets, and Q is in it, and anyway, Borg, but that's a good watch. I won't spoil it for you. Yeah. I kind of like this whole lower decks setup. It kind of reminds me of Red Dwarf with the bunks, but it's they're right in the hallway. They live in the hallway? Right that is weird.
I don't know. Christopher mentioned in the first episode that it was very much like a battle or was it Air Force carrier or something.
Yeah, that's how it really is, I guess, in military.
Yeah.
I could never be in military. I wore Stargate uniforms and stuff, and people were like, "Thank you for your service," and I was like, "No, I'm just a sci-fi nerd. Don't give me a discount, please. I did not earn it. I just watch TV."
So I like it. I noticed this is the first time I noticed the white boots that you had mentioned in the previous episodes.
I love those. I can't wait to get a pair.
Can't imagine trying to organize that sand in the first place.
And then they're trying to fix it. I had a thought. Why didn't they? I'm sure there's like hollow records of what it looked like. Just recreate a hologram of the sand. I don't know if that works on Ascension or not. I don't know what the sand.
I did like. There's another using the food replicator and do it and sand. Is it room
temperature sand? You don't want hot sand or cold sand, I guess. So
here's him getting to boost, bug her again.
All right.
This one here actually had a little bit more seriousness to it overall. There's funniness, but there's no forced jokes as much. It's just kept going and had funny bits to it. Cleaning the holodeck. I can't even imagine a worse job because I can just only imagine what people would use a holodeck for.
Now, they bleeped out some words in this. What were the words, you think? I'm thinking something to do with bodily fluids or something, but I'm not sure.
And that's actually another neat one, the use of bleeping.
Now, why do you think they chose that? Because they could say anything they want, just like on Discovery.
They do use some word. They do swear in some scenes, and they bleep other ones. So I guess they bleep it for choice, just for the effect.
And TV-14. So I mean, they can say anything on TV-14. I think. Is the ratings the same in Canada? Does it come up TV-14, or is it like A-OK and not so bad?
We have the very similar ratings. I think ours are the same. It's just they have to be rated by a separate group, I'm assuming. Okay. I'm not too sure on the details, but I know almost all our shows are American shows aired up here. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Even though most of them are filmed up here, so
Yeah. I don't know. We're all on one pale blue dot, right? That's all that matters.
Mostly it's a tax evasion, I think, for most of them.
Yeah, they get tax credits or something.
Yeah.
But I like it. You can always tell the Canadian shows because they have the same guest stars most of the time. So
there's a website that tried to link how every show or movie are like in the same universe by the fact that the same people are in them all.
Oh yeah, like 6 Degrees of Peter DeLuise or something.
Yeah.
So Tendi doesn't like to not be liked. I think all of us have a little.
Now,
bit
is
of
that possibly from the Orions? Is that maybe? Because I want to say somewhere in a previous thing they tried to make it the Orions actually try to please people.
They're like people pleasers.
Yeah,
I know Didn't they flip the script on that the Orion slave women are actually the slave holders of the men or something? Or was that? Am I thinking of Star Trek Continues?
I honestly don't know. That could be.
I'm not sure if it was Enterprise or Star Trek Continues.
Enterprise would be. I know they did something with the Orions.
Yeah,
but
quite a bit.
I sadly don't recall it enough. That was next on my to rewatch list.
Which one? Enterprise? I love Enterprise.
I enjoyed it the first watch through, but I actually loved it the second watch through.
It does get better, I think. Yeah.
But it wasn't what I was expecting when it first came out, so I don't think I gave it the love that I wanted to.
I was on board because Scott Bakula, but okay. So what's happening here?
So she just got her promotion.
Yeah, that's a pip.
So it's actually neat. You see her whole character change. She stops being smartass almost immediately. And poor was it Boimler?
Boimler? Is it Boimler? How's it?
Boimler?
I don't know. I'll get it eventually. Give me a season to get it all in my brain. There's so much Star Trek in the brain.
He's trying to figure out how the hell does she get this? Now here's a conference. I've literally been in conference meetings like this where you have 20 people or 10 people in a room and there's nothing to really talk about.
20 people in a room and 19 people texting each other. This should have been an email.
Yeah, and there's always everybody needs to have their opinion in whatever we're deciding.
The chairs, the stripe on the chairs.
Yeah, when I remember doing web design, somebody would have to come in to make. Oh, we need to change the strip on this web page to have a blue highlight to it.
My favorite is, could you round the pixels?
Yeah,
round the pixels. Can you make the whole website smell like bananas? That would make it so much better. We actually dealt with stuff like that when I did web design. Be like, what? Sure, we'll work on it.
Out of doing actual website design, it was too much stress for not enough
money for the time because there's so many revisions. That's the problem. If people were happy with what it was in the first place, it wouldn't be so bad. But everybody wants to control everything. Then they have this kind of
jazz.
like a nightclub going on, which is really cool.
So I like this. She's just going through what I don't even know. I couldn't imagine going through this, and I hope not all officers have to go through this.
It seems like it's required. It really does. Like the next gen boring like poetry readings and stuff like that. So they all have fun. This one's
and every time she goes back to the bed, she gets pulled out. So here's a TNG nod with the poker table.
Yeah, I really like that. I like that she changed her scrunchy color along with her uniform.
Oh, didn't even notice that.
Yeah. So you're all gonna fold. Why do they all fold? I didn't get the joke. I thought it was funny, but I didn't get why it was funny.
The only thing I'm getting from it is the fact that they play nicely with everybody. So they don't want to. Nobody wants to upset anybody else, so they all just play the game to.
Right.
Yeah, you don't go all in. It's a friendly game.
So yeah, I like their relationship, Tendi and Rutherford.
It's a neat one because it doesn't. It feels like it's romantic, but at the same time, I'm not sure if it is. It's more close friends, maybe.
I think so, but I think they each have a crush on each other, but they haven't figured out the other one has a crush on each other.
Yeah, and then he's got the implants, so he's kind of got a Vulcanness to him now.
Yeah, unless you, then he's okay.
Getting nerding out about the turbolift door or whatever in the first episode.
Yeah.
Or second episode.
So she looks exhausted. So why is she in Starfleet? I don't know.
I feel like that's why I said I feel like there's mention of gray ops in one of the earlier episodes and being demoted or being court-martialed. We know her parents are involved, so maybe there's having a big character arc building up with her. I
think it was like on Mission Log, they were talking about how they think that maybe she was like a Boimler type character and she did everything by the book because her parents were both, a captain and admiral. And then just something happened that changed in her brain, and she was like, "No, I'm not doing it anymore."
She does seem to be the only one of them having fun.
Mm-hmm.
She enjoys her life. She doesn't seem to care.
I like the little B story of Boimler trying to figure out how to break the rules to get promoted, and what he finally comes up with.
This is a neat one too. There's actually almost 3 stories going on.
Yeah. What's the other one? Remind me in case I'm missing.
You got.
Her doing the job she don't want to do. She doesn't want to do.
Oh yeah, you got her doing the job she didn't want to do. You got the fact of the generational ship there.
Okay, yeah, I even forgot about the A story. I wasn't even thinking about the A story.
And then you got Tendi, the Orion girl there, trying to help out the guy trying to
the Ascension. So that's a lot of things going around in a 25-minute episode.
Yeah,
man.
And then you also just have Boimler little snippets. So his is kind of just based on this main story here, Mariner, but still he's got a couple little mini scenes. So
I like her better in yellow.
I think it splits it up a little bit more.
Maybe.
Because they're making her and Boimler the main characters.
Yeah, I think so.
This is actually neat because Boimler has felt like the main character so far, yet he's not really focused in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. What were you saying?
I said, however, here we got the other captain now showing a little bit of jealousy, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Given that our captain you worked with him 15 years ago or something, that means...
Yeah, on another state. I forget which state his ship's called, but it's another state I noticed. The Illinois, maybe? I'm trying to remember. I probably got that wrong. If I got it wrong, let me know in the comments. Only kind comments below, please. It was weird that moving closer to the ship, the computer didn't know to adjust the tractor beam strength.
Yeah, but or is that panel going to come off no matter what?
That's true.
Next thought.
That's true. That might have just been the moments leading up to that, but it didn't cause it because what is it? Something doesn't cause isn't correlation. Coincidence.
Yeah, causation. Correlation isn't causation.
That's it. Correlation isn't causation.
So here's a neat one for me.
Okay.
So they have time right here to realize that this is happening on,
and they do nothing.
And they do nothing. And I think he says evasive maneuvers or something coming up.
Okay.
Why didn't they just cut the tractor beam, or at least say cut the tractor beam?
Yeah. Well, I guess that's why they're not the Enterprise, right?
Yeah.
I thought this was weird because it seemed to be like destroying the ship.
I know. I'm like, there's no way you can technically come back from this if this is happening.
Yeah.
But then there's actual Star Trek episodes that do something similar.
Yeah, there's that whole like everything's fine again.
Yeah,
we were all cavemen and fish, but now we're okay again.
So here you get to see Mariner really coming. The air is being modified. She like, I can feel the humidity changed or something.
She's definitely a great Starfleet officer.
Yeah, and you also see her inner actual element,
which I really liked, because up until this point she's just been the screw off.
And it's neat is what you'll get to see with her and her mom. They actually feel like a mother-daughter relationship. The mom's kind of always nitpicking the way she's doing something.
You know what? Watching this episode, I felt like, oh, maybe that's something I do as a parent, because I'm always like, oh, that glass is a little bit too close to the edge of the table. Oh, don't do this. Don't walk on tile in your socks. I don't want you to slip and hurt yourself. I'm that parent now. You know, like I'm like.
You mean it in the best way.
Yeah, because I just don't want her to get hurt. You know, because if it would break my heart if I thought of something like that and I didn't tell her and then she did get hurt, I'd be like, I don't know. I guess it's a parenting thing, right? Yeah.
So we get this guy. You're finding out his character a little bit, and he's like, I was the Ascension guy that was his thing.
Haley Joel Osment.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, that's who plays the voice of this character. I forget. I'm looking right now. I'm cheating. I'm looking.
I was never going to ascend. I was faking it.
Lieutenant O'Connor. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. But I think a lot of us are faking it till we make it,
Yeah.
So
this shows Tendi, I guess. She's like, oh, we're now best friends.
And we're going to die together or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're both jerks.
The animation on this show is amazing. Just the amount. Because they could get by with South Park level or Star Trek, the animated series level, and we'd still watch it. But there's always something new and interesting filming the frame.
Well, and I'm not sure who's doing this. Is this the same company that does Rick and Morty and
Titmouse Animation?
I saw that.
Yeah, it's funny.
I know it's got a BC film credit on the end of the credits.
Cool.
So,
cool.
And I know Rick and Morty's partially done at least out of a company out of here, Vancouver.
A lot of the animation looks similar, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was some team crossover. I'd really like more information on behind the scenes. Yeah, but this. I really love the episode. Of course, I love the episodes. But.
So this is actually the first episode. First of all, the opening sequence of this episode is the first one that is not. It actually had to do with the story. Before the credit or the pre-credit roll or whatever, it was actually to do with the story. Where all the other ones have always been a separate little short.
Like if this episode followed that, they'd be all hanging out in some cargo bay while all this was happening to everybody else.
Yeah. And so this one actually feels like an actual Star Trek episode, I guess. Like Next Gen. This could have been a Next Gen episode, change up a little bit. The fact the ship's getting attacked by whatever, that kind of reminds me of one of my least favorite Star Trek Next Gen episodes, Masks.
That is my second least favorite Next Gen episode.
Because the ship itself literally gets reconstructed, and at the end of the episode, they magically fix itself.
So I wonder if that's like a callback to Masks.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never know.
Oh, I hope not. That's just an episode that should be forgotten in time.
I think if it wasn't in that final run of episodes, I would have been okay with it, but they wasted an episode.
That was season 7 in general had a lot of episodes I wanted to like, but just they never felt like they hit as many hits in season 7.
Question: why didn't they turn off the gravity plating? Like, computer, turn off gravity in section 13 corridor. Why?
They're not the Enterprise. Don't think of the stuff.
That's true. That's true. I thought Haley Joel was great in this episode as that character because I didn't know it was him until I read the credits at the end. So
I think this is a trend that you're starting to see. Maybe not like Haley Joel was bigger actor,
like a stunt casting, like one per episode or so.
More and more bigger or previous big actors, even big actors, are wanting to do bit roles in all these shows and movies and. Like they were saying, was it Star Wars, the new ones, the Stormtroopers, or so many people, big actors even doing Stormtrooper roles.
Yeah.
Uncredited.
Yeah.
Just to say they were in there.
When the Stormtroopers beat up the child in the bag, I thought that was hilarious. It was mean, but it was hilarious.
So here's so this is a throwback even to the very first episode.
Okay.
They released some sort of gas in the very first episode and it magically fixed everything.
It would be great if that was the fix in every single episode. What do they call that? The one joke that keeps going and going and going?
And they actually, and here's a kiss. So now we got.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Yeah, that was kind of weird because of the relationship with her and Rutherford.
Why does it burn?
So Ascension hurts. Does it hurt when Daniel Jackson dies repeatedly and ascends and all that stuff? I don't remember.
Why is it taking so long? And then time has no meaning.
Yeah, why are we on the back of a koala? What is it?
Yeah, it was the universe is balanced on the back of a giant koala. Why is he smiling?
Oh, and he's the shape of a bird.
And then he's like, what's his final line there? The secret of life is.
He says, I see dead people.
Perfect line. And then hers, like, after, she'll be like, sorry, I helped.
Well, maybe he's happy. It's just a painful process. That little last glimpse looked almost like V'ger, the cloud, the shape. I don't know. And then there's the boots.
I doubt this will be brought up again, but I'm curious if the Ascension idea will be explored throughout or later on, maybe.
I just think he went to the captain one day and said, I want to start a Ascension department. She's like, okay, whatever. Yeah. I like the mother-daughter relationship, and I like both actresses that play these characters. I think it was great. I'm sure they probably weren't in the room together, but it seemed like they were.
Yeah, I'm assuming they would, like, if you said they did Zoom calls and whatnot, I'm guessing they would have probably done the lines together.
Yeah, I don't know where it transitioned from in studio to at home, but somewhere along it. That's a nice, them hugging. And then they realize, oh yeah, we're supposed to not like each other. We have a rivalry going on. Even the ships in this and everything. This leaf blower. You think Federation leaf blowers really do clean up stuff, or how does that work?
Well, they make them out of you think you'd want to be sucking it, I guess, not blowing it.
Correction, that's sucked out. No, that's blown out. What is it? That's a data blooper from season 2 of Next Gen season 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the crew, the cast.
Right there, you're gonna be one, or she's like, I'm gonna be one of your senior. You can be one of my senior officers, sit in the chair next to me. That's when Mariner decides I'm gonna. Yeah,
she's intentionally sabotaging herself right here.
Yeah, you can see the eyes and everything. She's doing it on purpose.
Sensors. Do you think that was a callback to the way Spock said sensors?
I read a review from somebody else on this, and that's what they actually.
Is that what they said? I didn't look at too many reviews yet.
I actually read it just prior to us meeting. But that was actually one of their questions or guesses was.
Okay. And that was just like, what was it, the cage where he said that? I'm thinking.
No idea.
Not sure. One of the first.
This is actually a neat one too. In every previous episode so far, Mariner has been very much love with Kirk era and TOS. Like, so she's always had a throwback line or comment about it. And this is the first episode I don't think she did.
I love the character design. I would love to talk to the guy who designed these characters.
I like that they went back to the TNG uniform style.
The whole TNG sets, the uniforms, the feeling, it like gives me my second childhood back. I really love TNG.
Technically, it's after Voyager even, and where they would have had the inverse uniform, black on the bottom and red stripe on the top.
I did notice that, but I don't care.
I think maybe it wouldn't look as good on cartoon because it would be a lot more just black.
Yeah, this is a show. It's very bright.
And there's Tandy can't handle somebody may not like her.
Beckett's sleeves. Why doesn't she just replicate her uniform with short sleeves? I don't know. Or maybe she replicates them like that and she can't even roll them down. I don't even know. So she's happy where she is. She doesn't want to. She
helps out her friend there.
Yeah.
So now we got next week's episode.
Yeah. So what do you think this one's about? I don't know the title yet.
I don't even offhand, but it's got the girlfriend. That's pretty much the whole thing focused on.
I like how she's like, she's an alien. We got to meet on the holodeck. She's not real. You can't possibly have a girlfriend. Like Geordi almost, right?
But I like the show. It almost shows like she's jealous of this girlfriend, which is then showing is that going to be another arc coming? I actually thought Boimler was going to turn out to be homosexual. That was like a guess. I was hoping for like a character because they did that with Discovery. They haven't. I don't think they've unless they've in the background. They haven't shown any.
I think there was two men walking. They seemed like a couple, but it wasn't expressly said. Yeah. But because that was one of my favorite parts of Discovery, just the doctor. Titmouse Inc. So we have to look that up more. But when they were brushing their teeth, I just love that. I was like, cool.
So that I know a lot of people. It's a new era. A lot of people. It should be part of it is part of the world.
Yeah, it's just it should be the world.
I get annoyed. Actually, not TV now is doing it better, but in probably '90s TV, if they ever did it, it's so in your face. Then they try. They're not even realistic couples.
Yeah. It's
Where
like
now,
a
that,
caricature
brush their
again
teeth.
or
It
something.
it was a realistic kind of scene. Like
People that love each
could
other
be,
brush their teeth together.
could literally be me and my wife in there.
Yeah,
Doing it or
exactly.
something. And,
So that was a really, it felt like it was meaningful by not being pointed out or anything special. So
yeah, and I think that's the one. Now the neat one is the Star Trek's really focused on the male relationship. I haven't done any of the female relationship.
I know they tried a little bit with what was it, the host in Next Gen, but Beverly was like, I can't do it. I was hoping
The
when the Trill that she fell in love with became a woman. Beverly.
Okay. Yeah, well, they
Remember
did that.
one?
Yeah, they also did that
On Deep Space Nine.
with
Where
Jadzia.
Jadzia's ex came to see her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably the closest they really did. I did like that they did with Deep Space Nine when the documentary that Garrick actually.
Yeah. Well, I always felt Garrick was probably gay, so
It was neat.
Garrick's one of my favorite characters. I think are you following the fanfic videos they're doing?
I have not.
I think it's going that way, but I haven't watched that episode yet. Wow. So that was a good episode. So you really liked it, right?
That was actually of the season so far. That was my favorite.
Okay.
It definitely.
Well, that's good. They're getting better. You're liking it more as they go along, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've liked scenes in every one of them. One of my favorite scenes so far was actually in the last episode, just a small one when they're down on the planet, the commander and Beckett. And he jumps out like, I'm going to stop this or whatever, watch this. And he gets like hitting the nuts and then the net thrown over him.
Yep.
And she's like, yeah, I like that or something like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I laugh. I enjoy it. For people that are trying to make other people not enjoy it, I don't get that because if I'm having fun, I just want to have fun.
People don't like anything, right? TNG came out, don't like it. It's different than TOS. DS9 comes out, it's a space station. We don't want to watch that. Voyager, it's a woman captain. We don't want to watch that.
And 20 years later, it's the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
But we don't like this new stuff.
Enterprise is a prequel.
Yep.
They got the Quantum Leap guy on there. That's not the right show. They got a dog on the ship. What?
Which, if I ever get a dog, he's going to be named Porthos and be, I think, a beagle. Was Porthos a beagle? I'm not sure.
I think so, yeah. You had a cat. I remember that.
Yeah. I've had pets. Most recently, pet pigs. So, but I lost those in the divorce.
Fair enough.
So, but I got the daughter, so that's the important part. Half the time. So I guess we're finished with our watch along. So what we're going to do is take a little break, and then we'll be right back to talk about like our final thoughts about this episode, and also we're going to continue our discussion about Star Trek, of course. And we have a little thing we like to do called Trek and Tell, where we show something Star Trek and explain why we like it, how we got it, or what's special about it. And also we're going to give our rating for the episode. So that's something to stay tuned for. So we're going to be right back. And we're back. I'm here back with Brent Japp, my friend from Canada. And I like saying that. I kind of brag that I have a friend in Canada because nobody believes me. It's like that whole girlfriend in Canada thing. It's like, you don't have friends and you don't have a friend in Canada. Can we meet this friend? I'll be like, yes, here's the YouTube link.
Well, there's the old running joke of like, oh, you're from Canada. You must know Joe.
I do that to my friend Matt all the time. He's in the UK. So, I'm like, when I come to visit him, can we go to Baker Street? Can we do this? Can we go to Cardiff and all this other things and Doctor Who? And he's like, yeah, I don't live next to that stuff. I'm like, really? I thought it was all in one spot. Everything in England on the BBC is in that one town in my brain.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Shows my ignorance, but, I enjoy it.
I haven't made the trip over there myself yet.
No, hey, maybe that'll be something. I don't know. We could do a Doctor Who trip to Mecca. What would be the Mecca there? They don't have the Doctor Who museum anymore, do they? I think they closed that, took it down, something like that. I think I was talking about it. I think I would go to like Torchwood sets or something, or at least stand on that where they go down into the
Torchwood.
Yeah, I would love to stand there. Just that would be a life goal, bucket list.
That would be neat. Yep.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is just talk about our final thoughts of the episode from Season 1, Episode 4 of Lower Decks Moist Vessel before we do our Trek and Tell, which will be fun, hopefully. And then we'll give our final ratings. Are you ready?
All right.
So final thoughts on this episode, or the series in general, since it's so new, of Star Trek Lower Decks in this episode, Moist Vessel.
I think I said it earlier on, but this is definitely. I was a little worried about it. I'm always worried about new shows, but
Hmm.
I think I'm a lot like you. I love everything. I
Hmm.
find I think of a lot of things from the writing point of view. The directing's a little different when it comes to animated, but the
Hmm.
writing directing point of view, the actors. So I tend to forgive certain things because I'm like,
Hmm.
you're still dealing with actors. One thing I do not like is when I get pulled out where I feel like they're not actually there.
Did you get
So
pulled
really,
out at all with Lower Deck so
not
far?
not
Or
at all,
no?
really. I know Christopher mentioned in one of them that you could almost tell that the one character was reading. I think that one that plays
Oh, the actress
Tom
who plays Tindy, he said,
Tindy. Yeah,
yeah, which was
I
Noah
never
Wells.
noticed that,
I didn't
but
get it, and even on the rewatch, I didn't get it. So,
but
but
I know that's that can be an issue with animated, and I
mhm.
know some of the earlier Simpson episodes be a good example of that, where you actually can almost feel like they're each reading
Yeah,
independently.
like they're saying,
So
do it again, 20 takes, and they're just reading it at that point,
yeah,
and they use that take
and
for some reason.
yeah, where this is so far, they like when there's a little bit of actiony, it felt like they're doing an action scene. Like
Yeah, like I visualize them doing all this stuff while they're recording because it just
yeah.
sounded like that.
And even the mouth movement to the voices.
Great job, right?
I don't know if it's perfect, but it definitely doesn't make my eye go, "Ooh, that's wrong."
I'm a lip reader,
Yeah.
and the fact that I haven't thought about their mouths
So
means they are doing a great job
so
because I lip read, because I have hearing problems. So it's always like a backup crutch I have is lip reading to comprehend like and confirm what I heard. And I've had no problems with this. So they're doing a great job. Who's ever doing the mouth movement on this show is doing a great job.
so and as you mentioned, so the animation style, I think everything they've done there is really good in this. It's hard to there's different ways to do animation. You could do
Hmm.
CG, you can do this kind of very flat, you could do almost an anime type style.
Hmm.
Try to make it look realistic.
Hmm.
They kind of I think went very cartoony, but with a realisticness enough that you believe it. You don't get pulled away.
Not at all.
And so I'm enjoying that.
And this episode specifically,
Yeah.
what did you think?
Oh, okay. This one. So this one I actually think is their best episode so far. It felt like, now again, this is what I said even about Discovery, fourth episode. It's when they've kind of had that rough start, but they've hit the ground kind of finally now and had a decent episode. Or I shouldn't say decent. I think they've all been decent, but
Yeah.
this one here is the one that actually they had what felt like an actual episode of Star Trek Next Gen. This could have been filmed with real actors in Next Gen, maybe slightly different set decoration, but it would have more or less worked.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and it has that next gen feel, and it's almost like a nostalgic feel of the future, which is weird because we're past this now, but now we're back to it. But I just love being there.
It's you're back in the utopia
Mhm.
Star Trek, but yet you're seeing it from the non-utopian point of view.
Yeah, that would be the only problem with me on the Enterprise D is I would not be good at stuff.
If they had a holodeck, I'd never leave.
Dude, I can't wait until I'm 80, 90. It's going to happen. Please help
When I
develop that,
was
Brent.
a kid, I remember actually drawing out sketches. I was going to have my own like shuttlecraft, but it would be big enough. It would be almost more like the Defiant. It would be a small ship that would have a holosuite in it or something, and that would be my
holosuite
life.
Yeah. Why would you ever leave? You would be Q in that holosuite. It's very possible that Q is just in a holodeck, and everybody else is just the characters because he can control everything.
Ooh. Series finale.
There you go. I really, really want. I know it's not possible now because the actors all look so different. I guess they could do it, but I really wanted Next Gen, even if it's the end of Picard, to end with them back in the courtroom, and Q says, "I've now seen what you're capable of, and now I can pass judgment."
What's neat now, like, they did that again. I keep bringing up Star Wars a little bit.
Oh, that's great. I love Star Wars
movies.
I love Star Wars.
They brought it back the character, Tarkin, and he's the actor. Like they did it all completely CG. And
I was totally fooled. I did not know until I saw it on YouTube that he was not a real person. And other people saying they didn't do good. I was like, I thought he was real.
You can see aspects when you know.
But I didn't. I knew that.
My wife didn't know until I told her. So
it wasn't like Princess Leia where you're looking, you're like, that's totally not Carrie Fisher. And like people at home with their home computer did much better for free.
But but still, like that's showing me what's like I said before. Mandalorian did the sets and that completely on CG, and that makes you think, what 5, 10, 15 years from now, what are they don't even need actors or anything. They can literally just make a full movie in a computer screen, and you would never know it wasn't real people in that place.
Once they figure out how to be able to touch the photons, then we're good.
So,
but they'll get there. I mean, we're made up of 3D pixels in a simulated universe, possibly. So once we figure out how to do that again, I'll be happy. Hopefully I live that long. If I don't,
I know animation sometimes scares people off, I think. So you hear animated series and you're automatically like, oh, that's for kids. I think in the recent 10 years, that's kind of changed a little bit with like Rick and Morty, Family Guy, all those ones, definitely towards an older crowd. So you're getting that little bit change. But I think the anime was 18 plus for a long time. And
hentai? How do you pronounce that?
I always said anime for myself.
Okay, anime. No, I mean, well, specifically, I don't
watch any of it.
Octopi.
I never became a fan, but I actually read a big story once talking about, and you can do a 200 episode series in anime where you can pre-write it, fill it, draw it all.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like a comic book storyboard, same thing.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about actors leaving on you or dying or aging, and so you can do a prequel and do it right in. So animation actually opens doors you would never have with realistic or real.
I'm a big fan of adult animation. I was doing the dishes earlier, and I asked my Alexa to play some music, and she said, playing your favorite most listened to music, and it started off with Get Swifty. So I guess I do like that kind of stuff.
All right.
Okay, now.
What are your thoughts on the episode?
My thoughts on the episode, I love it. I love the animation. I love the characters. I love the writing. I love the humor. I literally, all week, I look forward to watching the episode. And I stay up until 3 a.m. in this time zone is when it plays. So,
yeah.
And usually I'm working, so I got to take a break from work, which is nice. And I just go watch the episode. And like what has been happening is I watch it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times because it's so short. And you're like, one more time, 20 more minutes. What's the big deal? One more time, 20 more minutes.
Yeah, I got the 7-month-old, so I was up at just after 1 a.m. or something last night feeding him, so I got to watch it.
It works out with the parenting schedule because I don't have her on the day following when the episode airs, so that works. If not, I'd have to wait to the next day. But it works out for me. But I just love everything about it. I'm excited for it. I think the people working on the show are doing an amazing job. It's so much hard work. I've tried a little bit of home animation and different programs and stuff, and the amount of work is just ridiculous. And these people are doing such an amazing job.
And it's nice to have Star Trek on the air again.
Isn't it, though? I think the people that are poo-pooing it, kind of, my opinion is, like, it's different, so they don't like it. And it's new, so they don't like it. But if it's good, it's good. You know?
But we're going to have, 5 Star Trek series? 6?
Yeah. This is like...
This Prodigy, Picard, Discovery... the Brave New World,
Section 31.
And Section 31.
Yeah. Have I ascended? Am I in an afterlife where everything is perfect?
And they're talking more movies.
Yeah. What's the latest? It changes all the time. I wanted the Quentin Tarantino one.
I don't think there's anything official.
But they're not doing that. I wanted the one with Kirk's father where they go back in time and they meet and they do stuff. Because every time I start Star Trek 2009, I cry. When his dad dies in that first 2 minutes. They get me every single time, and you think I would know by now. But I'm looking forward to more JJ verse or even something different. I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with us losing Anton Yelchin. That just kind of killed the whole momentum, unfortunately. But I understand it.
48 episodes of Star Trek a year or more. 48 weeks of Star Trek a year.
I love the future that we're in just for that. Kind of makes up for the rest of the stuff, but not really. But it kind of does. It keeps you going.
The only worry is always they burn out. They just kill the franchise because there's too much.
That happened before because there was too many series on the air at once. Yeah. But I think them spacing it out like this, where it's just a weekly program that you watch, it kind of, for me, it kind of feels like maybe the pro wrestling vibe, where they have a different episode every week, and it's episodic written television and like you always look forward to that one episode. But if there was 2 or 3 on in one week of new episodes, I think there would be a burnout factor.
Could be, and it's actually nice because they're on the streaming service now. So you
Mhm.
don't, when you're on network TV, you have to have your season start like second or third week of September, run till Christmas, Thanksgiving or Christmas, and then start up again in January and run till May. And you always have to have your run. And now they can just decide they're starting in January and they're running 5 episodes, run 5 episodes, stop for 3 weeks, start another 5 episodes.
Yeah, I've heard people that cancel their CBS All Access when Star Trek's not on. And for me, $13 a month is worth it. Just keep making more Star Trek. That's why I'm here.
It's all dependent, I think, on how many services you have. You can.
I think I have
watch
most
all
of them.
8 services out there. You're paying $200 a month, I think now.
Yeah, is it like that? But I don't pay a cable bill. I just pay internet bill and have all the streaming services. So, but I haven't watched Disney Plus really since Mandalorian ended. But that's coming back soon, right?
Yeah, it's probably
the one
that's on my TV at home the most. Yeah, Mandalorian starts this fall, I think.
We're supposed to get a preview any day, I think, of season 2. I'm not sure, but that I'm really looking forward to. And I don't know if the child was supposed to be the series-long character, but I'm sure he is now. But yeah, that's a great show. Rosario Dawson's going to be on it.
Okay.
That hasn't been announced, but she didn't deny it as she smiled.
Oh, yeah.
So, and she wants to be in Star Trek too, so that would be great. I'm sure they could get her to be a voice actor on this show, but I think she wants to be like a lead character on something. So that'd be nice. I like Rosario. Okay, so after our Trek and Tell, we're going to give you our score, but for right now we have Trek and Tell. Brent,
okay.
Mr. Brent Japp, my friend from Canada,
right.
which is real.
So,
what is your Trek and Tell?
I have quite a few Star Trek things. However, most are in boxes. Ever since having the second kid, I lost my basically storeroom of everything, and everything got put in boxes and got stored elsewhere. However, I still have a Star Trek Garfield tie.
Wow. Is that officially licensed? I've never seen that before.
Doubtful. It says
Gar Trek.
Gar Trek.
Oh,
and
wow. I would totally wear that to like a funeral or something.
So
wow.
I picked this up at a thrift store. Oh, I don't even know, probably 10 years ago. And it's been worn a couple times, but it's definitely
that is awesome. I have many silk Star Trek ties. I got them when I was a manager in a restaurant. They made me wear ties, so I wore Star Trek ties. Where did you get that from, and why?
It was just a thrift store.
Oh, nice. It's one of those things where you see it, you have to buy it.
Well, I was actually looking for a Christmas tie, an ugly Christmas tie to wear, and then I found that. So that was my ugly Christmas tie, even though it has nothing to do with Christmas.
Where have you worn that? Have you ever showed up to a meeting with that on?
No, just a Christmas party, I think, so far.
Here's the new challenge. Your next Zoom meeting at your job that you do. You can wear that T-shirt, even the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy shirt, and just fold half the tie in there and have it down there, and just say I was on a podcast and the guy told me to. Yeah, just like that. There you go. I'm glad you didn't do it originally, because that would have spoiled it for us. I love that. That's awesome. Like this, That's a really cool Trek and Tell. I'm going to have to look up more about that. I was kind of like, I didn't know what to bring to class today for Trek and Tell, because there's so many things I want to show, but I want them to kind of go with the series, kind of. And but I don't really have any Lower Decks merch yet. I mean, I thought about signing up for the T-shirt a week deal, but I didn't quite do it. I don't know if you heard about that. Titmouse is actually making shirts. You can sign up for like a weekly crate of a new shirt for each episode or something, but I missed the boat on that one. So I'm going to have to get them on the secondary market, like eBay or something. But I just picked something randomly. It's a Wacky Wobbler bobblehead Star Trek Andorian.
Ooh. Do we know which Andorian it is?
No, it just says Andorian, but it's got a picture on it of the guy from the original series. I think he was not really an Andorian, was he? Or did he have his antenna removed to put in the transmitter or something? Is that the character or somebody else? I'm not sure. Might not be showing up great on green screen. It was a gift from a friend of mine that I worked with named Michael Reed. That was a great thing, again, about being a Trekkie, is people just go, here, I found this. Thank you. I don't have it. And if I do have it, I say, thank you. I needed that. Another one. But it's a bobblehead. Never took it out because I just thought it looks cool. Half of the fun is the packaging, because it's the artwork of it and stuff. And much like you, when I had a kid, a lot of my collectibles became toys. I had a decision to make, and what year is this from? Is there a year on your tie?
Oh.
It says Andorians are blue-skinned in appearance with bilateral antennae that reflect their emotional state and characteristically white hair. Andorians can be a violent and passionate species, though they also have a great affinity for family. Andoria is largely a cold, icy world, so this is probably post-Enterprise that came out. And one of 5 original founding members of the United Federation of Planets.
Yeah, that would be Enterprise.
Made in China. All the best stuff is made in China. 2009.
Okay.
So it might be a Kelvin verse, Andorian. You never know.
Just prior to, I guess.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. So.
But yeah, no, there's no tie.
Funko. So maybe it's on the Funko app. I don't know. What were you saying? Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
The tie doesn't have a date on it, no.
Okay. But I will Google the heck out of that later.
Star Trek. I actually want to say I remember a Garfield episode or comic of them doing Star Trek.
I've seen the mashup before, but I don't know where or when.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
Probably when it's about your daughter's age.
Very good Trek and Tell. I saw a meme the other day with Garfield, and it was Garfield or Heathcliff, and I was like, is that even a question? I don't know. Heathcliff was okay if there was nothing else on, but Garfield, of course. With lasagna, I like lasagna. 5 cheese lasagna with extra cheese. So that's our Trek and Tell for this week. If you have any suggestions or any Trek and Tell of your own, send them this way. There's all kinds of way to feedback. Send us. We have a phone number. We have an email address. You can leave kind comments down below. Remember to always like and share and subscribe. The subscriptions help get the word out where more people can see us. If we have more subscribers, more views, more likes, it's one of those things that kind of snowballs. So do everything if you like what you're watching and hearing to help us out like that. That's all you got to do. It's all free. Just give us a like. Did you like it yet? You're just sitting here watching us talk about liking it, and you could be liking it right now. Thank you. Oh, also subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. Oh, I liked it myself already. I think I was the first like. I like myself. That's something, right? And so now our ratings for season 1, episode 4 of Lord X Moist Vessel. I'll let you go first. Out on 1 to 10 scale, what do you give this episode?
I'm gonna give it an 8. I think
that's good. I think that's good.
Let's say handfuls of room temperature colored sand.
How does that help Ascension? I don't know. It's kind of like a Zen garden, maybe.
Maybe.
But colorful? I don't know.
Couldn't imagine doing the drawing in colored sand.
2 years it took them. That ship is getting tossed and turned all the time. How is it still there? I don't know. The stasis field, maybe? Then why was it?
Does that mean the ship has been around for at least 2 years?
Ooh, that's a clue. Something that will be on Memory Alpha later tonight. Maybe. I don't know. No promises. So I'm going to give it... Man, see, I so want to give out 10s just because I'm that guy, you know? I can't, I didn't find any fault with it. I didn't dislike anything about the episode. It was a great adventure. It was like an episode of Next Gen. Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a 9.
Okay.
Because I think there'll be an episode throughout the run better than this one. So I don't want to mess up my own scale. But if there wasn't, if this was like a short run and this was the last episode, I'd probably give it a 10. So just leaving room for it. 10. What is it? Organic regenerative gel? What is that?
Oh, I forget what
whatever that is. That's my rating.
My other one I was thinking of was the Tamarian florcas, the little insects you let go to help him ascend.
Wow, I couldn't even say that, and you just said it. It just went.
It's written down right there.
Okay. Hey, show notes. I should do that. I should take notes. I used to in the audio days, but I don't want to be here reading and checking off a list and doing things. So I'm trying to keep it in my brain. It doesn't work so good. So I think we both enjoyed it, and we both enjoyed the series so far.
Actually the one thing this episode I think it had but didn't have as much humor. It had humor in it, but definitely less actual jokes. So
more story than setup and punchline.
Yeah, I was not laughing as much in this one,
Mm-hmm.
but I was enjoying this one more.
The same thing happened on my first viewing. I didn't laugh out loud as much, but after that I did. So I think I was more absorbed into the story than the joke. Yeah. Maybe watch this be the one that Christopher enjoyed. Sitting at home going, oh, I should have been on this one. Oh, well. So it was great fun talking to you. Do you have any thing to plug or promote, how people can get in touch with you, follow you, like you, subscribe to you? Do you got an Instagram going? Are you an Instagram model?
Yeah, no. So funny enough, being in the programming and used to do web design, I think I have Brent Japp at every single place. Most of the accounts have been idle for probably five years or more. Kids and everything.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it happens, but it's worth it.
One of these days, and it's very soon, I'm actually trying to figure out some new plans, new endeavors. So there may be some follow-up when we talk in the future.
Okay, yeah, I'd love to have you back on if you'd love to come on. This was great.
Anytime.
Awesome.
I actually quite enjoyed this, and I love Star Trek. So we, as we proved tonight, I think we could talk for hours.
Yes, and which we did, I think, almost. So it was great having you on, and I really appreciate it. And I loved getting positive feedback about the show, because so far I haven't talked to anybody that liked it besides me. So it's nice to find out that I'm not the only one that appreciates it.
You mentioned you were going to do animated series at some point?
Yeah, I will. Did you want to come back on for a TAS?
For sure. I think you'll have to make me watch a bunch.
Awesome.
And then I can...
Yeah, we're doing them in random order. We're not doing the whole watch through because I think I'll be dead before I finish. But so just go through them and pick your favorite episode, and we can do it.
All right.
I would really love that.
Because that'd be watching those for the first time. So
yeah. Wow, that's so cool. And I have a great Trek and Tell for that. But stay tuned. Okay, and that'll be it for today. I hope you liked the show and subscribed and ring the bell.
Done all three.
Done all three, and I think that's everything. And I had a really good time talking about this. And stay tuned for the next episode.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Brent. Brent Japp, everybody. What a pro at this. And it's your first time, right?
First podcast I've ever done.
That's so unbelievable. You're natural. I love it.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
I'll get a little bit better lighting, I think.
Good lighting. Yeah, I like it.
Not a black shirt.
Well, don't wear a green shirt on a green screen. I learned that. Okay.
A floating head.
Like on Red Dwarf.
Yep.
There we go. That's called Bookends, right? Okay. So everybody have a great time, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Trekaholic. Please support the show by going to patreon.com/Trekaholic. Send written or audio feedback to trecaholicpod@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail at 305-707-TREK. That's 305-707-8735. And don't worry, no one will pick up. It's only for voicemail. Visit our website at trekaholic.com for more information. Trekaholic is not affiliated in any way with CBS or Paramount. I'm your announcer, Zoe Dean. Trekaholic is a Barren Space production.